Welcome to Munster's Cathedral of Rugby and a quite wonderful atmosphere. 26,000 jammed in for this sellout match, and Munster looking for their third Heineken Cup trophy in 4 years and could take a significant step in this pool in front of their adoring supporters. Today, though, represents a serious challenge to their invincibility at home. Clermont mean business. It'll be an enthralling match, Tyrone.
Yes, just as the final whistle was blown last week and the Munster players trooped off the pitch, you could see there was only one thing on their minds: let's get these French boys back to Clermont Park. With 2 home games in the next 3 pool matches, Munster are in charge of their own destiny, but stern opposition this afternoon in Clermont-Auvergne, as they found out last week.
Well, Munster are renowned for their consistency, not just of performance but also selection. Just one change to the side that snatched a losing bonus point last week. Jerry Flannery is fit after a knee injury and starts at hooker. Well, as you were for the remaining 14, Paul O'Connell captains the side from the second row. David Wallace will be a key ball carrier from number 8. Ronan O'Gara is just 7 points shy of an incredible 1,000 Heineken Cup points. Clermont will have to keep their eye on the strike runners, such as Lefemi Maffei, and the All Blacks' top try scorer, Doug Howlett. As you'd expect, it's a well-balanced side, ravenous for a crucial win. These teams were, of course, in the same pool last year, where Vern Cotter sent over a largely second-string side, which got well beaten. Not this time. This is their best outfit, and they come with one intention: to beat Munster. It's a big scrummaging pack that'll search out the physical exchanges. Thomas Domingo's injured and Mario Ledesma has been dropped to the bench, but Caballo and Roux are beefy customers. Elvis Vermeulen plays number 8. He can make the hard yards. The half-backs remain. Pierre Mignoni and Brock James will unleash their backs if possible. There's no Aurélien Rougerie, he's an injured jaw. Napo Nalanga is a sensational finisher who fills in. A little rejigging in the centres. Benoit Babi moves to 12. Springbok Marius Joubert outside. As for the bench, well, both benches are chock-a-block with class and international experience. From Ireland's most capped scrum half, Peter Stringer, to Mario Ledesma, 70 caps for Argentina. Options from 1 to 22 for the coaches. Well, in the Theatre of Dreams, 26,000 have come for this match. Supporters are certainly tribal but knowledgeable too. It's one of the great rugby grounds on the planet for atmosphere. Few arenas beat it. Clermont know. Very rarely do teams come here and win in the Heineken Cup. The last time was Leicester in January 2007. If they're not 100% committed, they'll get swallowed up by the emotional blanket of noise for the home side.
Yes, and the return of Elvis Van Moylen, crucial today to get that go forward for the Clermont pack. But of course in the backs as well, you've got the likes of Brock James and Pierre Mignoni. Brock James scored all the points last week, and certainly if he has his kicking boots on, any indiscretions by Munster will be sorely punished.
This huge French club not qualified for the knockout stages of the Heineken Cup since 2002. As for Munster, well, Paul O'Connell said this week, we know we have to win our remaining pool games, and every time we take the field, we know we could be exiting the competition in 80 minutes unless we perform. The 16th man will cheer this team onto the pitch.
Well, Ronan O'Gara also had his kicking boots last week, but has blown slightly more hot and cold than he might have done in previous seasons. Big pressure on him in there. David Wallace, equally as influential as Elvis Vermeulen on the Clermont side to get that go forward, the most explosive player on this Munster side.
Your referee is Chris White from England. The conditions are good. It may have hammered it down with rain yesterday, creating a damp surface, but it's bright and dry. Just a breath of wind. Munster coach Tony McGowan calls this a must-win cup final. Expect intensity and raw physicality from start to finish. So much expectation every time Munster take this famous field.
You ready?
Brock James scored all the points last week. So the second of the back-to-back games in this Pool 1 is now off and running. Beautiful start from Clermont. They nearly got hold of that ball and created themselves an opportunity, but Munster pilfer it back. Thomas O'Leary quite happy to take his time.
Stay here, Munster, stay out of the way.
Up it goes. Wallace, the man to make the hit.
People going in.
Now, Tony McGowan was saying there are three predominant areas that need improving. Discipline, particularly at the breakdown. Kicking. They kicked at the right times, they said last week, but not well enough. And attacking play. Offloading needs to improve. And so the first penalty goes against Munster.
Yes, and I think if Munster can look after that first area of concern, the breakdown, and keep their discipline there, then the other two aspects will look after themselves. But certainly they don't help themselves by giving away these penalties, and very uncharacteristic of Munster.
Don't miss, go 5.
Cabello to throw in. Of course, taken Ledesma's place at hooker. And a good line out too. Privat, who's come in, 10 caps for France, takes that. Counter drive there from Wallace. Second hit he's put in of the afternoon. Malzieu. Clermont say they've come to play, they've come to take a win.
Number 3, come back.
The Moulin, who
Release, red release.
is a heavy-duty runner. Serious physicality out there. Mignoni.
Away, Munster, away! Away!
It's abrasive and direct.
Back foot, no, back
Clermont
foot.
have full belief in their forwards and matching the physical exchanges.
Stay up.
Jamie Cudmore there. Flosh trying to chip it through, but
Advantage, yellow. Still advantage,
nearly
not
working. Babi. Back for the knock-on, and so the first scrum.
Well, David Wallace gets so much plaudits in terms of his go forward, breaking tackles, but here you see the power. The second time in 2 minutes that he's actually made a big crucial tackle, but the ferocity of Clermont Auvergne in those exchanges, and certainly they have continued where they left off in that second half last week.
26,000 now, Thomond Park. It is an incredible pitch we've got here and ground that surrounds it. And it is, of course, made by this wonderful support.
Well, certainly, I mean, coming from Ulster and such rivalry in the provinces here, I have to say I'm absolutely jealous. Well, this stadium is just made for the theatre of rugby, and the fans here are so passionate, and it just conjures up an electric atmosphere time after time here.
Stay there, stay there, stay there.
Mignoni waits and now passes. Babi, route 1.
Let go, Munster, let go.
The Langer's
Let
going
go,
in there
Munster,
to
rack. Back foot, Munster. No,
clear
number
that
4,
ruck.
move.
It's slow ball, just what Munster want. Into the 22.
Let go now, Munster, release a ruck.
O'Connell there, trying to hold his man.
There it is, back foot.
Flosh. Nalanga. Howlett gets hold of him and jumps him into touch. And maybe a chat or two afterwards. Nalanga is a very special customer, but so is that man Howlett.
Well, if you wanted anybody to look after the bulk and speed of Nalaga, it's Doug Howlett. And really, Clermont not overly weakened by the fact that Rougery's out. Nalaga coming in, known for his prowess at scoring tries and breaking tackles.
Flannery straight into the team and hitting his man.
Great. Yes.
So Munster, who've had to absorb a little bit of pressure in this first 4.5 minutes, will be glad to get the ball up to halfway or so.
Alan Quinlan doing, I think it was Quinlan at the line now, just plucking it up there. But it's exactly the same script as the first half last week. Clermont spending a lot of time in the Munster half and Munster having to defend.
Clermont trying to make a mess of that line out, but the pass goes to the deck. Advantage being played to Clermont. It's not quite working yet for Munster. Agora had no chance with that.
No, it was a beautiful ball again off from Quinlan off the top, but O'Leary just fired that ball out in front of O'Gara. He had no chance at all, and again, difficult one for Maffey to pick up.
Hold number 9.
It's a solid scrum, but then Mignoni drops it.
No, that's fine. Play on.
McConnell spinning it out. O'Gara. Good handling, Flannery. Horan, who's scored last week, and Howlett doesn't quite get the accuracy when he put boot to ball.
What Tony McGann said during the week, the offloads needed to be much more crisp and precise, and certainly in the middle of the pitch there, good handling for Munster. Just a lovely offload and interplay here. And again, Marcus Horan lurking out with intent there.
Privat goes up at the front to make sure that ball is taken. It's Bonaire with the scrum captain 6 on his back, driving forwards, making a few metres. Mignoni. Brock James up high. Thurles outside his 22. He's dropped it. And it's a superb high ball, but it's Clermont that get pinged.
He was off the ground. He just knocked it. Thank you.
Well, we've almost got a mirror image of the opening phases of last week. Another feature of that game, Brock James putting the ball up in the air so high, coming down with snow on it. And difficult for Earls, the young fullback, to deal with there.
O'Gara from the middle of the pitch with a nice strike to get Munster's line out up to halfway.
I mean, it's a great option because clearly with your players running onto the ball, you have to back yourself, and you know it's a tough penalty there because Marius Jubar was going for the ball, I think.
He just scragged him, didn't he? So the Limerick-born fullback with his first taste of what Clermont might challenge him with.
Well, very much the new kid on the block. I watched him out in the Churchill Cup during the summer and certainly was the star of that trip, and wasn't long before he filled his potential really and got that cap and scored within minutes against Canada here at Thomond Park. The perfect start to an international career.
Flannery wanting to get things going. He was actually banned for stamping a year or so ago against Clermont on Julien Bonaire, so you can imagine it might be a little bit tasty as the game progresses. O'Connell rises imperiously there. The Munster crowd trying to urge their forwards onwards. O'Leary. Malzieu doesn't have to take it because the referee's whistle will take Munster back.
Well, I think he's just saying that Ian Dowling maybe just crept half a yard offside following the kick. But there wasn't too much in it, but it's maybe just half a step there. The referee did very well. I think maybe the touch judge may have called that, but Dowling, like a little terrier, wanting to get after the ball.
Yeah, please, thank you. Big one, please. You work on it. I've one talk about it, no more.
Munster pride themselves on their discipline. Look to keep penalties conceded below 10. They conceded 10 last match. And crucially, 6 within kicking range, which Brock James took, thankfully. Clermont have shown in these early exchanges that they mean business. Mignoni. Bonaire inside. Brock James. Babi. Was crossing. Joubert thinks he was taken out.
You're running in front. That's the problem. You put yourself in front, you're liable to penalty.
Well, he just heard it there exactly right. And the referee put himself in front, and really there was no option even to give the ball. Just overran the line.
Muffy certainly had his man lined up. And that's a good clearance.
And you just look at that. That tells its own tale. It's been all Clermont. Spent virtually all this opening 10 minutes in the Munster half, and really it's an opportunity for Munster now just to build a little bit of territory in the Clermont half here.
But as is Munster's way, often they absorb the pressure without conceding points. Nothing on the board so far. Mignoni.
Careful.
Brock James. Maurice Joubert.
Play on! Play on! Get away, away, away!
Referee's happy with that.
Hold!
O'Connell needs to be careful of the counter-rucking. He decides to pick and go himself.
Hold it now, calm down, 11.
Plenty of intent.
There's certainly no love lost between these sides. But what Munster do so well is absorb that pressure, and then as soon as they get an opportunity in the opposition half, or certainly in the 22, invariably they come away with points. And if O'Gara can get a well-angled kick here, could put them in a great attacking position.
So the first time that Munster are up to Clermont's 22.
That's good, thank you.
The crowd are, of course, expectant.
Take the front, watch 5.
And as noisy as you'd expect. Quinlan taps that one. Clermont pour through. Advantage being played, and this is kickable. Flannery.
No advantage. We're in the side and we're
So having absorbed all the pressure for the first 10 minutes or so, Munster get their chance at points. O'Callaghan having a chat with Privat.
In the side again, and there's people off their feet. Debut, s'il vous plaît, debut. Here's your mark there, okay? Post. Post, please. Debut.
Well, Ronan O'Gara was called a rock by Paul O'Connell last week.
No, I'm fine, thanks. Let's leave it there.
And I think you see three out of 3 here for Quinlan, but that not anywhere clean enough for his scrum half. O'Leary.
O'Gara.
Yeah, well, we've got
closing in on 1,000 Heineken Cup points. It is incredible. 3 on offer here. Nothing that time.
I was about to say that is classic Munster play, but O'Gara's fist tells it all. He's not used to missing from that range or angle. He's very disappointed with himself, but just shows you Munster, have not been in this Clermont half hardly at all. And the one opportunity they get, come away, with a penalty chance, maybe not converted it, but just goes to show what they're capable of.
Earls deciding to run. Flannery heavily involved in this game so far. Earls is apparently going backwards when he got that one fired at him. O'Gara deciding to put it wider. Muffy, Howlett. Howlett chipping that one inside. Muffy is chasing. Babi trying to be a bit cute. Kicking it back to Brock James. That actually worked. But they're trying to get Howlett with a one-on-one, aren't they?
They are, yeah. There's nobody better, that one-on-one. And he almost got a try in the corner last week, and he'd be trying to go one better. But he put the boot the ball there, and the bounce that it got was just horrible. Bouncing all over the place and very, very difficult to pick up. You just see it. That's just the worst type of ball. And Clermont lucky to get away with that.
O'Leary, O'Gara, straight up the middle.
Slash!
O'Connell, oh, he gets hit hard.
Sorry.
Howlett, oh, nearly. The ball is still in play. Munster are trying.
Again, Howlett, just lovely feet there. He thought he almost got him, just stood up. Nalaga stood him up on the inside, went on the outside. And look who's here to pick this ball, or to get his boot the ball, John Hayes. Great work from the prop.
Okay, it's quite lively, it's over quickly, yeah.
Jamie Cudmore, the Canadian international, receiving attention. There is phenomenal experience in this Munster lineup.
We just look at that. Foley, Hayes, O'Gara, Stringer, Kelly and Wallace. Extraordinary. 6 in the top 7 of the most Heineken Cup appearances. A reflection, 1, on how successful Munster have been consistently in this competition, and 2, the consistency in selection over the years.
You're going in here. Okay, steady. Okay, touch and release both sides. Crouch, touch, pause, engage. Okay, firstly, we must have a release of the ball.
So there's John Hayes, 6'4", up against Emmanuel who's 6'3", so 2 very big men going head to head.
Let me come to one. At on. Crouch, touch, pause, engage. Loud, I will say it louder, and then we engage on the engage. Yes, sir. Space. Crouch, touch, pause.
Referee Chris White showing patience so far.
They're too keen to get at each other here, not waiting for the engage call. Chris White.
Crouch, touch,
just let me know.
Engage. Good.
Must go in on the engage call.
Free kick going to Munster. And they'll be keen to take this one quickly. Quinlan. Muffy. Ooh, goes right over the top of Brock James. Leary. O'Gara. Munster getting over the game line. The tacklers are lining up to put down their men though. O'Gara waits and now receives. Muffy. Howlett. Horan does sometimes lurk out on the wing, very effectively so. He was ill last week and only just got on the plane, but still managed to score that exceptional try.
Yeah, Horan got that try last week, but it was from 3 or 4 yards, and he had far too much work to do there.
There's 2 of their players on their feet. They've been on their feet the whole time. But you're on the floor.
But Brock James, you know, great kicker, great distributor, but look at this here. There was only one thing Maffey wanted to do, and that was run over the top of him, but really put his body on the line there.
Okay, thanks.
The tackles are coming in hard and fast. The scoreboard not troubled so far. Just one chance from a penalty from O'Gara, and Mignoni was tapping that, and it's bubbling over. O'Connell is right in the middle. Cudmore is unloading, and it's all kicking off. Cudmore and O'Connell.
Let go of him! Let go!
It's getting pretty ugly now.
Wait. Let go, Red! Red, let go!
Cudmore can be feisty, and proving it again there.
Let go, come away! Away over there!
Well, Cudmore hasn't helped his case there. Took a few jabs at Donnacha O'Callaghan here. And if the referee was going to look at both of the players, there's no question he's going to look at Cudmore first of all here, particularly for after the contact.
I've got yellow, number 4, a punch, and repeating it after the whistle of gone. I've got number 5 over there, who's there, he's involved, but he hasn't done a punch in the same way. Do you agree?
I agree, yes.
So at the moment,
number 4, yes.
I've got yellow number 4, continuing, he will have to go,
Yes.
and he will take a yellow card.
Yes.
Red card, yellow card.
Okay. Cudmore's going to get singled out, and so is O'Connell.
Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. No.
I have to defend myself.
First of all, you have continued fighting afterwards.
Red card for Cudmore.
And you... be quiet. I will deal. You off there. Go.
Yellow card for O'Connell, and they're still going at each other.
Go that way.
Absolutely extraordinary scenes here at Clermont Park.
So both teams down to 14 men. Clermont for the rest of the match, Munster just for 10 minutes.
Well, you see as it breaks up here, Cudmore, and they're holding each other, but Cudmore puts that initial punch in. O'Connell claiming that he was only defending himself, but it was after the whistle that was blown that really nailed Cudmore here.
Well, Cudmore was banned for a month last season for punching Tim Payne of Wasps, and
decision,
and
please.
it was nearly a full-blown fight.
Over here, please. Right, switch
So
on,
that's
gents.
Cudmore's afternoon over.
Well, I think it's a very good thing there is a screen between Cudmore and the Munster supporters there. I think the atmosphere here, they're ready to absolutely lynch him. But O'Gara needs to just cool things down here. The only way to answer this is to get the 3 points from the penalty.
He has to be under your control.
Vern Cotter knows it is quite a task now for the visiting team to
just confirm with the
take a victory down to 14 men.
Just confirm with the representative, please.
Well, at that stage, you saw Chris White had blown his whistle. Cudmore just threw a couple of punches there.
Connell was looking to the touch judge and then had to look after himself. It's accurate. It's over. Munster break the deadlock.
And it's just a sea of red here as the flags fly high. 3 points down, 1 man down, and it certainly is an uphill struggle now for Clermont. Munster will want to put away this advantage.
That is ice cool from O'Gara for what was a difficult kick. Quarter of the game gone. Munster 3-0 up. And crucially, they take that restart. O'Gara doesn't get the distance he wants. He's chasing to try and retrieve the situation.
You're within 10, you've got
And
to get
immediately
out of that 10
the
zone.
penalty
You're within
goes
10, you've got to get
Clermont's
out of there, you've got to
way.
stay there.
It's pretty much straight in front, so a chance to negate that earlier O'Gara penalty.
Well, the one thing you would have thought Munster would have wanted to do is just secure that ball, clear their lines. Maffey did so well to start off with actually claiming what was a very difficult kickoff. But O'Gara's horribly skewed kick, and Maffey very clearly offside. And a cheap attempt at 3 points here.
Brock James took 18 points from penalties last match, with an 89% success rate. He is top class. Off the post. Well, how crucial will that be? So early in this match, but you feel that this is going to be very tight.
Yes, just watching Alan Quinlan talking with Ronan O'Gara there underneath the posts. He must be saying, look, just get us down here, keep the ball in front of the pack, let us put pressure on this Clermont pack.
Lovely hanging restart from O'Gara. Privat doesn't manage to get a hold of it. But Clermont now with possession. Mignoni, up it goes. Malzieu. Malzieu, who's 6'4", got his hands to it first, as you'd expect. Mignoni on his side there. Well, there is plenty of spice.
Yes, and plenty of spice, but leading to unforced errors on both sides. And you get the feeling, as we enter the second phase of this first half, that it's the team that can keep their composure and control the most is going to go in at half-time with the advantage.
Off the ball, do not get involved.
And the referee, White, is going to have to be extremely vigilant as this game progresses. So, Sailor Montauban playing later tonight. This is as it stands. If the game does end up a draw, Clermont will be quite pleased with 2 points. Of course, you can see that where they're going into it, that they want more than that. Munster have got Sale at home and then Montauban away. Clermont have got Montauban at home and Sale away.
That's on to play. Had enough.
Clash of heads there between Mignoni and Flannery, but Mignoni is one tough customer. Straight back into action.
Mignoni, who's skippering the side today, no rougerie.
You must release. No pause.
Hurt his jaw last match.
And release. Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Going to be very interesting.
Without a second row. James. And Stubert.
Let go.
Knew he was coming and closed that door.
Away, Munster, away.
Mignoni sliding across and delaying that pass. And Stubert deciding to give a bit of width to it. And the intent in the tackle area is significant. Great counter-rucking. Nice from Wallace, but up goes Babby. Real intensity, power from Munster and wanting to get this quick ball, but Clermont are up for this as well. And we can see that. Flannery, Quinlan, Maffey, full throttle. Referee happy for the moment.
Thank you.
O'Leary.
Well, it's impossible not to get sucked into the intensity
High tackle, Premier
of this match.
You got a number?
High tackle coming in on Maffey there, but what an awesome amount of counter-rucking by Munster leading up that. But you see, there's no question. Just reaching around the neck. Didn't really get him fully, but It was the intent that was there.
O'Leary came around, but the referee said you can't take advantage there. It was crossing, and so the penalty now for O'Gara, thanks to Vermeulen's high tackle.
And you see the penalty count has just turned in Munster's favour, and the difference that player off the pitch is going to make as this match goes on, particularly in the scrums and the breakdown, it become increasingly difficult for this Clermont pack.
Superb! Ronan O'Gara with 999 Heineken Cup points, and crucially 6-3 up.
And if you ever wonder why a pack is called a pack, it's because it hunts together. And here you see in the counter rucking, Flannery, Hayes and Dowling the winger getting in there as well.
Get out of his way, Seven!
Quinlan gets caught by Bonaire, and the Munster pack are beginning to get a little bit of forward momentum. Flosh takes that well. Bella. Mignoni. Brock James. Still 14 on 14. It's a little bit long. The girls has time and decides to go. Loves to run, and you can see why. What a wonderful counter-attack from the full-back. Howler. Wallace back inside. The tackles come across. Brock James cut down Howler, but what a counter from Keith Earls. Now maybe a chance for Munster to score the first try. Muffy. Oh, he's so full of intent, isn't he? O'Leary. Earls. O'Gara. Munster just about returning possession, but then getting a little isolated.
Number 9 is the player on his feet.
And you see Keith Earls there at the back.
First of all,
absolutely magnificent counter-attack. Took the quick tap and just put his ears back. Great pace, great footwork, but the presence of mind, looked around on a beautiful pass for Doug Howlett to run onto it. And really they kept the ball alive here, sourced the ruck, and unlucky just going off their feet.
And the crowd cheering, not because the penalty was conceded, but because Paul O'Connell is stretching off. He spent his 10 minutes in the sin bin, and he will want to make the one-man advantage pay.
Well, as O'Connell warms up, he'll be pleased with the way the rest of his team have lifted the intensity of the game. It's almost a case of you pick on one of our boys and we make you pay. And certainly Munster, in that 10-minute spell, have certainly lifted the tempo of the game, much more intense at the breakdown, in the contact, in the collisions, and beginning to get a little bit more space on the pitch as well.
Mignoni. Brock James deciding not to release to Babi. And the forwards join him.
away, Red, away, Red, away!
Mignoni. Harris Hubert.
Away, Red, away!
Hubert right on his shoulder.
Be quiet.
Good hands, Bonaire. Malzieu, who's a very fine finisher. Big man, but pretty elusive. Brock James skipping that one across. The bounce is crucial. Doesn't quite happen for Cabello and Langer. On comes Paul O'Connell. Folk hero, legend. I think so.
And the confusion there between Nalaga and Cabello. You just hear Chris White saying, remind you of your responsibilities. I'm sure Paul O'Connell doesn't need reminding. Inspirational captain.
O'Connell straight in as though nothing had happened. Lifting Wallace. Just 3 points separating these two teams. Clermont have got a pretty inconsistent away record, but now Munster getting the chance to get into the opposition half.
You mustn't lie on top. Debut.
Just in discipline there. Chris White gave very clear instructions just to leave Tomas O'Leary alone. And gives Munster a great option in clearing their lines, clearing themselves out of their half. They've been putting the pressure on this Clermont side, spending a lot more time in the Clermont half. And you see coming straight through the ruck there. You just cannot do that. And Chris White told him.
There we are.
Privatson knew he was caught with his hands.
He's looking at the ref.
This is a better position for Munster. O'Leary just checking things with Flannery. Very slick. O'Gara, Howler to take that behind him, but O'Gara is there and chips that very nicely. Flosh taking it quickly, they're off. Wallace goes back. Munster deciding to play territory. James doing likewise, doesn't quite get hold of it. So Quinlan can clatter his way over the halfway line.
He's won it. Nice pass.
O'Leary, O'Gara, Muffy. Quite happy with the contact through James.
That's on.
O'Gara up high. Malzieu is underneath it. Flosh countering. Making a good fist of it. There was the support to keep the move going. Mignoni wants this quick ball. It's just not quick enough for his liking.
Advantage
Being played to Clermont. Mignoni thinks he's found some space. Emmanueli. James. Cabella. Knock on. Advantage was over, says the referee. Just as they cough that up. Hayes. O'Connell. Ronan. Chip through doesn't work. Bonaire made himself big. Foran is a talented individual in the tight or out wide.
Well, it's the second time that the Clermont hooker, Benoit Cabello, has led to confusion and turnover. First of all, he was up with Nalaga, and then there came back and just lost the ball in contact. But again, John Hayes there to clear up.
Hold it.
And then his fellow prop puts the ball down the line with the use of the boot.
Deuce. That's on. Oh yeah. Right.
So quite a few line-outs so far.
I played. You had
both teams pretty good. 6-3. He's abrasive, aggressive, and so much excitement and no doubt drama left in this match. O'Connell with a bloodied mouth, thanks to Jamie Cudmore, of course, who's been sent off. So Clermont with 14 men for the rest of this match at Thomond.
Well, certainly, if anybody thought that Clermont were going to come over here and roll over, that's another thing coming. They come over full of confidence, pick what they believe is a very strong side, and the confidence has come through this forward effort.
Beautifully predicted by Munster. Muffy stepping off his left and bashed right up the middle, but it's been turned over. They'll go back for the first knock-on.
Brock James again did very well. Maffey hit him first of all, but James kept hold of him.
Listen, please.
Lovely take from Quinlan again, proving very, very important in the line-out. We see Brock, he just keeps hold of him.
Touch. Oh. Does the Emlyn? Does the Emlyn?
Yeah, Maffey's hunting out Brock James, isn't he?
Touch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Stay there. Stay there.
Bonaire flicking it out the back. Flosh on his own and finding a safe touch, but Munster remain camped in the area where they think they can nick some points.
4 minutes.
Yes, and they'll be acutely aware of the first half last week when they had to soak up a huge amount of Clermont pressure, but really, you know, as this first half closes out, it's Clermont very much under the cosh. Munster beginning to stamp their authority in this game.
O'Connell, Leary, O'Gara, Maffey deciding to spin it this time. Earls. Having to go digging. O'Connell.
Sorry.
O'Gara mixing it up, chipping, wants the bounce. Maffey, oh, that's good. Wallace. O'Gara screaming for it. Now he gets it, deciding another chip is in order. Cabello goes high, and that's pretty athletic from the hooker.
Well, he's had to make up for two mistakes, but he did very, very well there, claiming the ball. But great cheeky play from O'Gara. He's mixed the game up very well, firing out passes, good kicks to the corner, and here you see he just spotted the space behind that first line of defence, and you know, had that ball bounced up nicely for him to start off with, it could have been even more dangerous.
What receiving attention.
Okay, thank you, Messi. Wait. Time on, wait.
Cabello giving it to James. And James keeping it unintentionally, of course, in field. Howler. Straightening, or nearly through Doug Howler. Almost from nothing. Earls. Big tackle coming in. Interception. Earls is trying to get back. Babby. Oh, Malzieu thought he'd have it. And that was a superb opportunity for Clermont.
Fantastic opportunity, but came from this big hit in the middle from Marius Joubert. It's amazing how defence very, very often can turn into attack, and you just thought if that ball had stuck. Malzieu was very, very dangerous last week.
Touch means touch and release.
Earls did very well to track back to cut down Babby.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
O'Gara, high and deep. Flosh looks down to see what's coming at him. Malanga, we haven't seen much of him. Well tackled there.
Let go,
Barry Murphy. James inside Malzieu. It's double tackle. Wallace is all over him, trying to turn it over. He gets the penalty. Taken quickly. O'Leary wants to pick up the pace. Horan. O'Connell. Oh, it's brilliant hands from O'Connell. O'Gara goes back. Opportunity. Not quite.
5 metres.
Oh, 5 metre scrum, and the screw is being turned now. Great hands from O'Connell to get that move going.
Extraordinary stuff here. Just you thought you saw the space opening up and you thought the try was on. But great cover defence from Clermont. And again, the ball spilling from Nalalagas. hands.
Time off.
But the crowd senses some points here, and the intensity once again as this first half closes out, almost at a crescendo.
And remember, it's 15-14. Jamie Cudmore has been sent off, so Munster will sense there is a big opportunity here. Munster 6-3 up. Can they get some real daylight between themselves and Clermont as we go towards half-time? There's O'Connell mopping up. Through one, through Wallace. The crowd erupt. The try has been scored.
And cool heads there. But what a crucial time to score, just on the cusp of half-time. And David Wallace, we said as they took the pitch, David Wallace, the most explosive player on this Munster side. And he just pumped those legs of his. And you just got the feeling this Clermont defence, you know, was strung out all over the pitch, wasn't particularly tight around the breakdown there.
Thank you.
But he got low, body angle, just pumped the legs, and Quinlan behind him there.
Great work between 6 and 8, Quinlan and Wallace. So Ronan O'Gara now looking to get the 2 points, which would take him through 1,000 points for Munster in the Heineken Cup. Groan from O'Gara as soon as he hit it, but there is the half-time whistle, and what a moment to score for Munster.
Well, games turn on moments like the last minute or two. Munster increasingly got into the game, taking advantage of the 14 men on the Clermont side and converting that pressure into a great try by David Wallace to send in Munster deserved leaders at half-time.
40 minutes gone and Clermont looking up against it now. Munster 11, Clermont 3.
And Munster lead the way over Clermont Auvergne by 11 points to 3. Clermont Auvergne, remember, down to 14. Jamie Cudmore sent off, but it's still tight. They're still scrapping hard. Let's get back to our commentary team.
Thanks very much. Well, for 20 minutes after the break last week, Munster were off their game by their own admission. There's no doubt a blistering start to the second 40. This week will be emphasised this time around.
Yes, Munster, they do not lose very often, but when they do, they learn lessons from it. And the lesson from last week is they must come out to start this second half absolutely firing on all cylinders. They went to sleep in the first 15 or 20 minutes last week. They need to keep going where they left off at the end of that first half.
Beautiful take from Privat. Dowling. Hit there by Bonner, but still manages to go forward.
Stand up, scrum down. He can't move there. He's a tackler.
Clermont are such a dangerous side, and Munster will be well aware they can cut the home team at the blink of an eye.
Well, usually a big one beats a small one, but there Ian Dowling absolutely bounced Julian Bonner off him.
Munster, let's play, please.
Solid little nuggety player. When he takes the ball forward, he really runs with intensity.
Crouch. Agash, Agash, Umper. Head, crouch, touch.
He also played rugby league. Dowling for Ireland.
Pierre.
Wallace, try scorer. Just a small knock on, no.
He did so well off the base of the scrum there, but just Just lost the ball on the floor.
Who? Release, please.
Well,
Crouch. Aton.
Wallace is such a powerful ball carrier. And Munster's pack beginning to try and successfully hurt Clermont. Remember, no Jamie Cudmore anymore. He's been sent off for Clermont. And so the squeeze being put on the visiting side.
Well, you saw Ronan O'Gara just running in there, patting all the forwards. And no doubts Tony McGann said you need to go out there and press that advantage home.
Wait. Aton Le Pousse. Aton Le Pousse. On the mark. Aton Le Pousse. Crouch. Crouch.
Consistent excellence through the years from a very settled pack.
Free kick. You're giving back, Munster. Let go.
Free kick now goes to Clermont. Mignoni wants to get hold of it quickly and pick up the pace. Mignoni. Mignoni again. Bonner sliding and then trying to deliver it, but O'Gara nearly got a boot to him.
That's them all. No lash. Let go, Munster. Let go.
On halfway.
There it is.
Slow ball.
Back foot, number 10. Come back.
It's being left for Mignoni. Babi. The Coles there.
Let go,
And
Munster,
over the
let
top,
go.
trying to nick it. Vermeulen.
Let go, Munster. Come away. Hands away, Munster. Yeah, no, that's all.
Munster looking good for their defensive duties so far. Oh, nearly through the line.
They move.
Privat. And Munster are well up for this defensive challenge. They got a man advantage, and Nalanga again
Move, Munster, move.
picking and going. Oh, he'd love to get a little bit of room in which to work his magic.
Back. 6 move.
Through 10 phases now and still not making any headway. Maybe a chance for the backs. Not too many out wide. Got James. Hubert comes back and goes straight through. The Springbok gets cut down, and an important tackle there as well. Mignoni. Now Clermont have the momentum that they desire. Some pace on the ball and into the 22. James inside.
Stay up. They move.
The ball from Audebert. Mignoni again, working the short side. Hubert, who's shown he's dangerous. Again, through 15 phases. Bonner, double tackle going in there. 2 blocks. O'Connell and O'Callaghan making that tackle. Look at that. Maffey trying to get hold of this ball and steal it. Everything is being contested 100%. Inch by inch. Brock James inside. Bonner again. And he's meeting 2 tacklers. Malzieu very wide on this near side. Maybe Brock James will think about that little clip across at some stage. Should Munster continue to snuff out any chances in the tight exchanges. Malzieu will fancy his chances in the air over Dowling, who's much smaller. Clermont are going to have to get this ball away from the scrum pretty quickly.
Excellent continuity there from Clermont, keeping the ball. And really a man down, they realise they have to play. Mignon starting that move off the quick tap penalty. And then Joubert, he did it in defence in the first half, leading almost to a try opportunity for Malzieu. But a great tackle there from Howlett.
I'm more interested in what's happening around the ball at the moment, then I'll look at the next bit.
On one of the few occasions that the Munster defence was found wanting. Been very good around the ruck, but moved away from their stations there. Joubert stood, Howlett up, but Howlett just kept his cool. And crucially, watch him trying to get onto his feet, competing for the ball.
Fresh legs up front. Ledesma and Zirakashvili are in the front row. James, he was on his shoulder.
Let go, Munster, let go!
Good attacking phases now from Clermont. Maffey putting his head to the tackle. Ledesma, the Argentinian legend. He likes taking the ball into contact. Clermont still striving, fighting to try and close the gap. Audeber's got through a lot of work in this second half. Mignoni, a little bit slow for his liking.
Debut!
Whereas Hubert waits. Will they try the short side?
I think the crowd made more of that than it was. It was just a little, I'm here, just a little reminder. But Mario Ledesma, he was an absolute thorn in the side of this Munster team last week.
Keep moving. Debut.
Just a little tickle there. Just let him know.
5 meters. 5.
But that substitution, Ledesma coming in at hooker, and also Zikarashvili, big players in that front row, just to put the pressure on again.
Just to try and hold this scrum. But the ball gets coughed out. Dowling gets his foot on it. Can he pick the ball up? Oh, it didn't break kindly for him. Just a small knock on. And even with those fresh legs, Zirakashvili and Ledesma, Munster beginning to grind into them at scrum time.
They are. It's the scrum that really Munster's beginning to put the squeeze on. But certainly the pick and goes from those two players there going to be very effective.
Bonner's gone to number 8. He has it there. Mignoni. James. Malzieu gets his way past one. Legs pumping. The Munster tacklers come in there, looking to hold him up and maybe turn him over.
Let him move, Munster, let go! Let go! Let go, Munster, he's done it. Wait. Move, Munster, he's done it.
Clermont know they need to come out of this sustained pressure with points. Straight through Nalanga, he's shown he's dangerous in this second half. Nice pop up too. Flosh, Ledesma. Mignoni. James, it's out wide. Malzieu's got a lot of work to do, deciding to cut back in. It's wonderfully balanced running, and he loses his footing, so it made it look as though it was extremely high. Penalty coming now, though.
Move away.
Quinlan did his job to stop that penalty being taken quickly.
Tackles down, in the side.
Well, Quinlan not happy there, getting penalised, coming in from the side. But Munster were players up there. Malzieu got isolated.
Because he's falling. Yes. Quite a problem.
Well, Clermont will be keen for these 3 points to get them within losing bonus point range. The cries of Munster ring around this ground.
You see, Quinlan gets penalised here, but arguably you look at the Clermont. Malzieu did so well, but the Clermont supporting player comes right in from the side there as well. Arguably that first offence has come from the Clermont player. He's scrambling to support Malzieu, but Quinlan not happy with the decision.
Brock James won off the post in the first half, straight through this time though. 6 points to Clermont. And this is still very much game on.
Yes, and looking at that player, Brock James, we're talking about the power of that Clermont pack, but really it's Brock James scored all the points last week. He is the guy that they really do need to keep their eyes on.
Munster with the one-man advantage, having to absorb a lot of pressure there. Privat. Callum O'Connell chased that.
Oh, play, he's there.
Ledesma letting it come back behind.
6, wait.
Brock James.
Advantage, not gone.
Flosh.
Advantage over.
Babi. Nearly up to halfway. Nalanga. Now he's going to show his gas. Howlett is cutting him down. Big handoff. Howlett does get hold of him. Very few people get around Howlett on the outside. Ledesma. Clermont are showing how dangerous they are. Flosh with the initial break. Marius Hubert. Such a different game from last year where Clermont weren't up for it. Oh yes, they are this time. Brock James very high. It's on Dowling. It's Wallace actually. Was that a knock on?
Okay. We're back. Okay, we're back.
I think it went over his head and he just touched it. But here we see defence turned into attack. You thought it was advantage Munster, but look at this breakout. And once again, Howlett tenacious there, sticking with Nalaga.
What's the front shot?
But certainly Munster have not seemed to learn the lessons from last week. You know, first 12 minutes of this second half, and it's been all Clermont.
Ledesma with the ball in his hands, 5 metres out. Munster don't challenge. Clermont, who've been very good in the opening part of this second half. Looking to close the gap. Good tackling again. Driving Vermeulen back. Mignoni. Brock James. Oh, it's a wonderful line from Babi, trying to smash his way over. Super tackling. Advantage being played. Munster escape. What superb tackling. Was it O'Leary that made that tackle on Babi? Crucial tackle.
Absolutely fabulous cover tackle from O'Leary. Babi hit a great line. You see, second line of defence, O'Leary coming across, stopped him, absolutely dead in his tracks.
That is brutal. 9 on 12.
And great play from O'Leary. What he's done is he's come across behind that first line of defence, almost like a sweeper, trying to just mop up any mess. And he put his body absolutely on the line. Now, he's not the biggest of players, and Babi's a big man, but just tremendous tackle. Real try-saving tackle there. You look at that in the second half. Clermont absolutely putting Munster under the cosh. 42 tackles.
Clermont were hot in the early part of the second half last week, and they're asking some serious questions this week as well.
Well, if Munster, well, you see Horan and Wallace once again. This team just doesn't do things in ones. There's always a second player there.
Well, what spine and attitude being shown by Clermont. 5 points behind. Babi decided to try and run straight over the scrum half, and it's he that's come off worse.
And if Munster do manage to come through this test, no question that will be a massive, massive tackle in this game.
Jeremiah Mbai is on.
Thank you.
Munster then get the chance to clear their lines. Great defence. Everybody gives it everything.
As Babi leaves, you've got Mbai coming on. You just see the damage that Babi's done there. But Mbai, what a player to bring off your bench.
You're too close. Too close, too close, you're too close. Just give yourself a little bit of space. Don't put. Crunch, touch, pause, engage.
Just 3 points in this second half, and they come from the visitors. Wallace, O'Leary, who's straight back into it. O'Connell with a pick and go. O'Gara has found some space too. Flosh canters around to get a hold of it. Nalanga not getting the space that he wants. Munster try and turn it over, they do, they get the penalty. Is it within O'Gara range? Great chasing defensively.
Well, Nalanga, he's a big guy as well, but 4 against 1. You got to back the Munster team there. Great chasing defence, great competitive spirit on the ground, and really, I mean, it was an easy decision for Chris White. But you see O'Connell, again, a cool head.
Yes, please.
But Nalanga, he took it into contact. Look at that. It's like bees around a honeypot. O'Callaghan in there making life difficult on the floor. Easy decision for Chris White.
This to put him through 1,000 Heineken Cup points. Not this time. He will have to wait once again. 11-6. It remains.
Well, it is a milestone, but I'm sure Ronan didn't think he'd have to wait as long to get across that 1,000-point threshold.
O'Gara. Hitting it high. Nalanga. O'Gara following up his own kick. Brock James thumping that one deep, but only as far as Wallace. Leaves it for Dowling.
That's okay, that's okay.
So it's been so tight throughout this game, and if the result and the score remains 11-6.
Hold the clock, please, John.
Sale, of course, playing later. Munster go top of this pool 1. Looks like only one team are going to get out of this pool. Ryan is on. Confirmation, Quinlan leaves the pitch.
Well, Quinlan's very much the elder statesman now in this Munster pack, so Donnacha Ryan coming on, fresh pair of legs.
And Bai was on his shoulder, and James's shoulder, but he took it into contact himself. Turnover. Maffey. O'Connell. Forward.
Well, O'Connell just needed to keep that ball, just either the pass inside or just put his head down, because John Hayes just standing just half a yard in front of him there. And crucially, that O'Gara penalty, you know, had he got that, it would have taken Munster beyond a converted try and very much stemmed the flow of this pressure in the second half.
James. Hubert, who's managed to get his way past and through the defensive line once or twice.
Look at where you
penalty
are.
Going to Clermont.
Move away, please. Number 7, off his feet.
Ronan being singled out by the referee White.
Hubert beginning to find the spaces and ask questions of this Munster midfield defence. And again, what a massive kick this is for Brock James. You're looking at within the space of a couple of minutes, instead of an 8-point difference for Munster, Clermont could just get this gap closed to 2 points. Hugely important kick for Brock James here.
He's a superb striker of the ball, Brock James. 100% so far. This is a tough one. So O'Gara misses a few minutes earlier, and Brock James fails to hit the target there.
A real let-off from Munster. Last week, Wayne Barnes absolutely nailed them for going off their feet at the breakdown. On 2 or 3 occasions they have cleaned up a bit, but at crucial times you need to keep your discipline.
Knock on from O'Connell. Zirkashvili being driven backwards. Mignoni, Brock James. And Bay has to wait for that pass.
We're going nowhere there. We come back over here. It's knocked on.
Referee doesn't reckon there's much of an advantage, so back for a Clermont scrum.
And Ronan O'Gara's had to make more tackles in this game than I've seen for a long, long time. And look at that. Again, 14 men, 1 man off halfway through that first half, and look at that, 89% possession.
Hang on. Second row,
Munster,
listen.
crucially,
Tell them to
just
listen.
conceding 3 points.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Will the Clermont legs begin to wilt with just 14 men? Brock James. Harris Hubert with an option. Flosh just flicks it on to Malanga through 1. Mignoni. Brock James shipping it on to Hubert. Zirkashvili straightening. Flannery makes the tackle. Mignoni. James. Can they find a way through? Malzieu straightening. Malzieu looking very dangerous. Clermont comes steaming back. The score's a level.
Absolutely amazing. The front row partners on this close side supported the ball, kept it alive, and they flashed it wide. Malzieu, dangerous last week. He was just given too much space, but showed great strength, great pace, just refused to go down. Crucially, the pass, it pushed him onto the outside of Barry Murphy, handed him off. And really, Earls, you have to say that tackle has to be made. Should have been pulled down. Look at that, one hand right in the forehead. Beautiful palm off there. And Earls has gone too high. He needs to get low. But a great finish by Malzieu.
What a huge last quarter of the game we've got in store now.
Again, you look at that pass. It actually forced him into the wide channel. Opened up the right hand for the handoff.
So Brock James for the lead. Not since January 2007 have Munster been beaten in the Heineken Cup. That was by Leicester. Brock James. Has he pulled it round? He has. Clermont go into the lead.
Well, taking the red card out of it in the first half, the script here this afternoon has been so similar to last week. This 20 minutes in the second half, Munster have just gone to sleep. And Clermont, you have to take your hat off them. Fantastic effort from 1 to 15. 4, of course, off the pitch, and Barry Murphy, he'll not be too happy with that last contribution of his getting handed off to Paul Warwick. Played very well against the All Blacks here 2 weeks ago.
Malzieu, the try scorer.
Hands away!
So Munster trailing by 2, and you feel that this 20 minutes could be crucial in the end result of this pool. Munster, the Heineken Cup champions. Dowling. Ledesma gets hold of him.
Let's see! Watch your feet, watch your feet.
Warwick deciding to stick it deep. Flosh.
That's on!
O'Gara.
Jouet.
Munster just want to get themselves in a position where they can entice a penalty from Clermont, just to try and get themselves ahead any which way. 2 points the difference.
A real test of Munster resolve, Munster character. They've been in this situation before.
they will certainly believe in themselves. One-man advantage, of course. Now Clermont in the lead. As it stands, if it ends 13-11 to Clermont, it's Clermont that hold the box seat. Sale, of course, playing tonight against Montauban.
Somehow you just get the feeling, no matter what happens this weekend, this pool of death, this group of death, is going to go down to the last match, round 6.
Let go, cease!
Mignoni high. Beautifully taken by Howlett. He's been nigh on impeccable tonight. Put in Munster.
Again, Howlett has been really a model of composure. He's defended very well under a lot of pressure from Malaga. Also under the high ball there.
Are they cold? Are they praying?
A bit of both, I think. It's got cooler as the afternoon's gone on here.
Clermont put the nudge on at the scrum. O'Gara sliding across. Maffei. James falls off him. O'Gara not working with Howlett. Warwick goes back. Not enough depth, it's just straight up in the air. Nalanga. Real test for Munster now as we go into the last 15 minutes, trailing by 2. Brock James, crossfield. Whereas Hubert chasing. Wallace. Ball is there. Did it touch him? The touch judge thinks so. All these small decisions could actually be quite magnificently huge.
As the ball came across there, I think Wallace is looking to get the ball out of touch. I think that's a good call by the touch judge there.
You be good.
Good call by the touch judge. Maris Hubert has been up for this one. Wallace and his crew need to find every ounce of strength to dig themselves out of this. Clermont, remember, 14 men and really taking it to Munster in this second half.
And Thibaut Priva leaving the pitch there.
Sampson's coming on.
Before he left the pitch, he literally hugged and gave a kiss to all the rest of his pack there, urging them on. It's been a tremendous effort by that pack, particularly given that they've been one man down.
Time up.
Mignoni. Brock James. Boom. O'Gara makes the tackle.
Great tackle by O'Gara. Got really low there.
Malzieu decides to straighten. He's a difficult man to put down. Flosh is there to bind onto him.
No, don't go in there, Seven. Stay there. Sorry. Debut.
Mignoni
He's done it.
desperate for this quick ball. Brock James deciding to chip that one across to Nalanga. Too much.
Yeah, one of the first times Brock James really has made an unforced error. But O'Gara there, he's been in the action in every possible way. This is a horrible sight, but O'Gara does really well, gets his body in front of him, almost just allows the momentum to get him to fall over his body, but kept low.
John Hayes leaves the pitch to be replaced by Tony Buckley. Marcus Oram belatedly joins the line-out. Munster need to get out of their 22, need to get themselves in a position where they can take points and take the lead. O'Leary. O'Connell is there to swallow it. O'Gara, will he run it? Munster still playing full position. Flush. Squirts off his left as far as O'Leary. O'Gara's on his shoulder. Bear makes the tackle. Earls waits. And the ball just about to be passed to Flannery. Now O'Connell. O'Connell sliding and getting caught by Manueli.
Lash!
O'Gara. Beautiful pass. An opportunity now for Munster, was it? The referee stops that. That's close. All these decisions so important.
That's very close. Ball just given before the line, and of course just taken by Wallace just over. But Paul Warwick usually plays at 10. Great distribution skills there.
Very good work from the touch judge and the referee. Those decisions so important. Look at that drive coming on from Munster. Vignoni thinks he's been taken out.
No, same scrummage. It's gone up.
Massive scrum by Munster there.
Come over here.
Really putting the pressure on Vignoni at the base. Coming under pressure, but you just see the scrum under pressure. Zachra Billy is popping up. Ledesma popping up.
You must come straight. Get over there.
26,000 jammed into Clermont Park here to see whether their heroes, the reigning champions, will be victorious or be beaten by Clermont.
Thank you.
Malanga, oh, he's through! Clermont have broken again. Chipping and now chasing. So crucial, so close. The bounce of the ball favouring Munster, but look where they are.
Malanga again, just the power of the man, just breaking tackles. Just handed off Flannery there. He's had a few goes at Dougie Howlett this afternoon. Shows the chip, but Warwick saved today. Great cover defence, but increasingly playing a big role in this game.
He's really come into it in this second half, hasn't he?
Carries. Look at those 9 carries. He and Malja, both wingers, really involved in the game.
It's the forwards that try and take their way ever closer. Huge moment in the context, not just of the game, but the pool and maybe the defence of the Heineken Cup. Again, Clermont go. Can Munster hold Clermont out? Ledesma waits. Now he picks the ball up. Munster so far stopping this Clermont attack. Inch by inch. That's how close they are to the Munster line.
17, get back.
Last 10 minutes of this pulsating game. Malanga in there.
Let go, Munster.
Munster been told to let go. They can't afford to give away a penalty. Difficult, so difficult. And again, Clermont go. Scrum Clermont, and the clock will tick on.
Merci.
This is just, goes without saying, it's just a crucial moment in the match. Munster desperately need to defend this line. Look at Ledesma there, just so much experience. Very cool. Talking to the rest of his pack, the scrum might suit them here.
Emmanuel Etienne is now on for Vermeulen, for Clermont in the back row.
And these Munster supporters, they're not generally used to this, but all you have to do is think back a few weeks. Munster down by 2 points to a French side here at Thomond Park. Round 1 against Montauban, managed to get up the pitch, managed to turn possession into a penalty, and got that win in the injury time against Montauban. You wonder, are we going to have a similar script tonight, or are Clermont going to shut the door on them?
11-3 up Munster at half-time. One-man advantage, remember. Jamie Cudmore of Clermont's been sent off in the first half. Nalanga going from number 8. He's a bruising customer out wide.
Number 4, red, 4 red.
Ledesma. Clermont try and squeeze Munster. Munster holding out so far.
That's it, let go, red.
How they'd love a turnover. 2 points between these two sides.
Away, boys, away.
Munster's phenomenal record here at Clermont Park, hanging by a thread. Mignoni going for the drop goal. Brock James. He's missed it.
22.
I just thought here,
Time off, please.
Brock James,
9.
I got that. Munster would have needed a converted try to take this game.
Peter Stringer, Ireland's most capped scrum half, comes on at a crucial moment in Munster's campaign. O'Gara. O'Connell chasing. Nazia. The referee says it was you that knocked the ball on first. Did Munster nudge it forward when the ball was in the air? No, says the referee.
Well, Stringer embodies everything that's good about Munster rugby. So experienced, had a fantastic game against the All Blacks here 2 weeks ago. Absolutely gutted at the end of it.
Wallace. Munster have managed to withhold the pressure from Clermont just moments ago. Now O'Gara, up it goes. Brock James was chasing. Malzieu goes up to secure it.
No, he's there. The ball's there. He's there first.
Mignoni. Flosh. Happy to play territory. Munster deciding to run that one. Warwick gets caught by Ledesma. Stringer. O'Gara. Thought about going inside to Howlett. Now the penalty comes to Munster. It's a chance for them to get into Clermont territory. 6 minutes left to play. Munster 2 points behind. Now they would dearly love to get themselves in a position where O'Gara could hit his 1000th Heineken Cup point.
Well, there's a museum here at Clermont Park in the new stadium, and in it there's a quote from Jerry Flannery which says, "There are no stars in Munster, it's just honesty and work rate." And this last 5.5 minutes, Munster need to be more honest than they've been for a long, long time. Need to get down deep into this Clermont half, set up camp and come away with points.
Battered, bruised, but not yet beaten. Stringer, O'Gara, Maffey, Earls, straightens, nearly up to the 22 now. Stringer, big tackle going in. Clermont, of course, have got to retain their discipline. Dowling spinning, getting over the gain line, making a few more metres. Now the crowd get behind Munster. They feel something's cooking here. Wallace, ever closer. O'Gara, it's out wide. Maffey, Flannery cuts back inside. So close now, Flannery. Munster, can they pinch the lead again? O'Connell, really close now, Munster. Can they pull it from the fire? Head down, Horan. The roof comes off Clermont Park. Horan scored last week. Has he scored this week? We're going to go to the video ref.
Is there any reason we cannot award
Marcus Horan has broken Clermont hearts for a second time in 7 days.
How many?
He gets spelled short of the line
The clock is correct
by
at
Ledesma.
76-14 now.
But just
turn the clock
look at his
off now?
knee. That right knee just forces him across, momentum takes him over the line. That has to be a try, you'd have thought.
I want the clock, stop.
Ledesma does so well, tries to get his body underneath it. Got that extra bit of movement.
That's a try. Munster are going to take the lead. The video ref is Graham Hughes.
I don't normally spell it.
Munster have gone back to their own half. They're confident.
Yep. Thank you.
Try given.
Extraordinary character from these Munster men. Whether it was Ian Dowling, whether it was David Wallace or Marcus Horan out in that wing. Extraordinary how they have just upped it and they take advantage of the territory when they get into scoring opportunities.
Munster make it count when they need to. Horan from a standing start, getting through Ledesma. Did it go forward or not, that pass?
I think you ask the Munster supporters.
O'Gara, he's stranded on 999 Heineken Cup points. 3 behind Clermont.
Well, Horan's try last week helped Munster to get that vital away bonus point. Again, a few question marks over where this pass was forward. That went backwards. Not a chance.
Little chip up the middle. Brilliantly taken by Ronan. Stringer. Flannery. Can they close this game out? Oh, they were feeling the draft for much of this second half. Clermont love to get themselves a chance. It's going behind Malzieu. It's a long way back now for Clermont. Flosh can only put boot to ball. Ronan chipping it. Oh, that's clever from Ronan. He's going to win the race to this. Magnificent. They were in big trouble, Munster, just moments ago, and now look at that score. Clermont don't even have a losing bonus point at the moment.
Well, Ronan, very clever. He spotted a mismatch he was up against. The prop, lovely chip, great skill. And O'Gara was just shouting at him to chip it. And he just kept going. And you have to say, this is the stuff of champions. This is why Munster has won the Heineken Cup twice in the last 3 years.
Brilliant advice being given from O'Gara on his shoulder. And now the spotlight falls to O'Gara once again. On 999. Is this the moment? Ronan O'Gara is the first player to go through 1,000 points in Heineken Cup rugby. And the crowd rise to their feet in acknowledgement of this very special player.
Well, you simply could not have written the script to this game. Absolutely extraordinary. And at 5:15 on a Saturday late afternoon, there is no better place than to be at Thomond Park with this Munster team in a commanding lead now.
Okay, thank you.
This time for the restart. Brilliantly taken.
Thank you. Hands away.
It's the last play. O'Gara having a run. What a performance from Munster.
Advantage over.
Clermont still trying. What an incredible match.
And this Munster team, everyone a hero, but the Heineken Cup man of the match for me goes to David Wallace. Was absolutely exceptional, both in defence and in attack. Kept on driving on, was at the heart of everything that was good about this Munster effort, but to a man he could have picked every single one. Extraordinary the character that they showed in that second half. Really let it go in the opening 20 minutes of that second half, as they did last week. But David Wallace, such a scrapper, true grit, Heineken Cup man of the match.
It is a wonderful competition. It throws up these staggeringly hot contests. 11-3 up Munster at half-time. A man advantage. Then Clermont came right back at them. 21-13, then 23-13 when Ronan O'Gara manages to go through the 1,000 point mark. What a performance from Munster, but yet again they provide magnificent entertainment for this adoring crowd at Thomond Park. So, final score here at Thomond Park is Munster 23, Clermont 13.
Well, they left it late, didn't they? They came within 4 minutes of suffering only their second ever loss at Thomond Park. But champions know how to win, and Munster showing character once again. Patient, took the chances, closed it out, job done. And I should think a big sigh of relief as well. Remember, Sale travelled to Montauban this evening, but Pool 1 is shaping up to be a tight finish.